Can't touch the untouchable, break the unbreakable, shake the unshakable. We're wealthy, baby. Remember that song from the esteemed Sean Carter? You remember that song? I wore the hat for one of the subscribers. They said, hey, bring the hat back. So I did. See, I show love to my subscribers. So, hey, click that like button. Get in the members only section. I will be releasing another members only video tomorrow morning. We've been covering a lot of good information over there. So make sure you jump in there. Always remember also super thanks is down below. Feel free to give if you see fit. All right. So we're going to start here with this article. I'm going to take the hat off. The hat is hot. It's a hot hat. My father would have said, son, you look sharp in that hat. That's what you always say. You have a good blazer on suit. You say, son, you look sharp. Let's start here. This is from imf.org. And it's titled The Ascent of CBDCs. So we know we're in deep with CBDCs. XRP is at the crux of many, many CBDCs. We have hundreds of financial institutions signed up. Quant also has hundreds of financial institutions signed up. XLM has been utilized by banks, at least the Stellar protocol. Stellar blockchain has been utilized by a few banks, and we did have the CBDC in the Ukraine. I'm sure there's other projects that are going to be announced at some point in the future. IBM, LightNet for Stellar, Algorand, as you saw, Coinbank said, what did Coinbank say? They had like 10 or was it 5 or 10 banks they're bringing to the table. Now, like I said, there's no guarantees in anything to the capacity to which these assets are used. We have to wait and see. Of course, they have to be tested. And then it's the final decisions are obviously up to those banks to what extent they're going to be using these protocols. However, if they're used to any capacity at all, the prices are not going to stay where they are now. Just imagine all the people that are accumulating at the prices right now, and then you have an explosion. They're going to see a healthy return on investment. Theoretically speaking, this is not financial advice, not a financial advisor. So let's read this little tidbit here. It says, as of July 2022, there were nearly 100 CBDCs in research or development stages, and 2 fully launched. The eNaira, we know who runs that, unveiled in October 2021, and the Bahamian Sand Dollar, which made its debut in October 2020. Countries have different motives for exploring and issuing CBDCs, but in the case of the Bahamas, the need to serve the unbanked and underbanked. Okay, so this is a recurring theme that they're talking about. We saw another article they released recently where they were saying something very, very similar. Now, the reason why they're trying so hard to push this idea, unbanked, is because that's money on the table. They want to bring in money they couldn't access before. We've been talking about this for quite some time. That money is going to do wonders for us. The higher the amounts, the higher values, and the higher the consistent volumes on these blockchains, the higher that price can go. And that's what we're here for. We're here to make money. So we want to bring in all of that we can. Now, CBDCs are not going to be able to do everything by themselves. Of course not. They're going to flow in and out of the bank coins. The bank coins will run behind the scenes as they're supposed to. You don't see the parts in an engine of a car functioning. You turn on your car and most people just start driving. They don't go outside every day and look under the hood at the alternator and you know, the different parts of the engine, the cooling tank and things of that nature, fan, all that stuff, whatever, serpentine belts. Same thing will happen with the new financial system. They will run. They're like the pieces of the engine. They will run behind the scenes, do what they're supposed to do, provide liquidity, security. This is what they specialize in. So it's something that the industry desperately needs. Now, at the top of this article, they clearly tell the people they've had this idea. The central banks say they had this idea since 1993. Oh, is that so? Then why didn't you act on it? Because you couldn't. They couldn't, which is telling us what? We literally have what they need. And that's going to mean a lot of money for us. Theoretically speaking, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to sway you this way or that way. I'm here for the bank money, okay? I'm here for the money from the banks, to take the money from the banks. I am an AHAB investor. Just sharing a little bit of research. You can make your own decisions, do what you want, do what you please, and I will respect you, okay? Okay? Okay, so they're pushing this idea of unbanked and underbanked. And this is another reason why, if you pay attention, some of the most suppressed of the bank coins are the people's coins. Pay close attention to that. Now, don't get me wrong. I consider Algorand a people's coin. It sort of straddles the line between a coin that serves the banks, and it serves a good amount of banks, by the way, and serves the people, you know, sort of like it does what Ripple does, but it also does what Stellar does. So Algorand's like right in the middle, in my humble opinion. That's how I think about that. And Algorand is going to explode. People don't see it. It already exploded before. People made a disgusting amount of money. It's going to explode again. But Stellar, XLM has been heavily suppressed. Not just price. See, most people looking at price, I don't worry about that because I'm on a 3 to 5 year timeline, just like the Bank of International Settlements said. I'm going by logical timelines that have been established by authority figures that stand to use these protocol. So the Bank of International Settlements said it would be 3 to 5 years before everything is up and running with CBDCs. So unless they change that timeline, that's what I'm working on. So I'm not really worried about price right now. Don't get me wrong, price explosion right now would be beautiful. I would love to have some fun. I like to see green just like everybody else. But I'm here for the big money in the end. I'm here for the big money, the bank money, not retail's money. I'm here for the bank's money, okay? I can get retail money in other places if that's what I should see fit, okay? See fit to do. That's how I just personally feel. This is my humble opinion. But if you look at the information is what I'm saying. It's not just price suppression. Most people look at the price suppression and it is suppressed heavily. However, the information suppression on Stellar has been out of this world. I've seen websites. There's websites that have deleted parts of their website, have deleted documents in relation to Stellar that you and I, there's some people who have been with me on this channel since day one and they read the documents. They went to the websites and some of these websites are deleting documents that were building on Stellar protocol. Why? Why? Stellar was working with a bevy of banks. Why aren't we hearing updates? That's suppression to the next degree, where they don't even want that information to get out there. There is a reason for that. Something is coming. Something is brewing. I think Stellar is going to explode, in my humble opinion. It's too quiet for someone that was working that were on panels with the federal government, working with the oldest bank in Europe. They're working on a CBDC with Ukraine. You think that was it? No, they've been given orders, clearly, in my humble opinion, to be quiet. And they've been very quiet. Stellar Foundation even has been quiet. So you have the banks being quiet about what the results of all these tests were. Stellar was even finalist in a lot of the competitions, like the one down in Brazil, the one they had with the Singapore Monetary Authority. Stellar was a finalist there, but then you don't hear anything else. No, they've been given sort of like gag orders or something. And trust me, I spent an entire day searching for Stellar information. I mean, deep Stellar information. That's what I'm interested in. Deep information. Nothing superficial. That doesn't move me anymore. And I was searching and searching. I'm telling you right now, it was very difficult to find anything. People have been told to hush up. That's suspicious to me. Now, maybe I could be completely wrong. But in my humble opinion, there's a storm brewing. They're being quiet for a reason. And they're laying low also. Don't get me wrong. They're laying low till the SEC thing blows over. Maybe the CFTCC can take over. But Stellar, in my opinion, is going to explode. I haven't sold a single Stellar. Just know that. When I say, listen, I'm a man of my word. It's the way my father raised me. And I'm not going to change that. I'm long in the tooth right now. Late in life. I'm older now. I don't play games like that. I haven't sold a single Stellar. I believe in the projects that I speak about. XRP, I believe in it. Algorand, I believe in it. XLM, even if I was the last person, everybody else sold everything else, Alphaning would still be right here. I don't back down. I'm not taking this back step. No. If it worst come to worst, I'm going out in a hail of arrows like Leonidas. This is just how it is. Now, I'm not saying it has to be your fate. I'm not saying that. We promote you making your own decisions here on this channel. But it's too quiet. We know Algorand's going to explode. We know XRP is going to explode. Then in the background, Stellar they just real quiet. Interesting. Now, let's move on here. I'm enjoying my time. I'm having a little bit of fun with you guys. I appreciate everybody being here. Okay. Anytime I read a document from the IMF, I keep Ripple in the back of my mind because Ripple has the closest relationship with the International Monetary Fund. Remember that Ripple is on the advisory board of the International Monetary Fund. So that's why I always think about them when I read documents. I understand that they have a heavy influence on what the International Monetary Fund is saying. Now, let's slide over here to a PDF or a post rather, and I think there's a PDF attached to this here from the Bank of International Settlements, and they're telling the people, I have to do it like the mask a little bit, have a little fun. They're telling, but the people are not listening. It says, dear friends, new age and new finance call for even stronger cooperation between countries and nations. I told the people, there's not just a new financial system coming. There's a new order in the world coming. They want this to change the entirety of the world. It will change how much carbon people are using for a variety of reasons, which changing the way that people use carbon. Obviously, I think they're going to have to penalize people. That will be a tax. So they want to utilize certain technologies. They're going to take it no matter what anyone does. By the way, you can sell all your coins. They're still going to do what they want to do. That's what the powers of the world have always done. But some people have a little doorway, a little opportunity to get disgustingly rich or generate generational wealth or make generational wealth in this opportunity. Only a handful are going to make it. Only a handful believe. I understand this has happened before, but not in this way, not to this degree. This will be the greatest degree, the greatest opportunity of a lifetime. I'm not going to miss out on it. I don't control anybody else, and I don't want to. I personally am not going to miss out on this. But it says new age and new finance call for even stronger cooperation between countries and nations. Okay, so that's what I wanted to get to. So they want it to be a one world thing. Now, they've tried this with the United Nations. That doesn't work because you can't control the people. You can't control the government. It's not really the people. You control the people through the governments. They want to control the governments. There's too many rogue agents in the governments. There's too much wasted money in the governments. There's too much irresponsibility. They want to be able to check them now. To say, hey, don't spend money like that. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the governments. Reel them in. They want to know who did what, who and where. Mostly with the governments. There's a lot of rogue agents in the governments. The central banks are like, hey, listen, you need to govern your people. Hey, listen, commercial banks. So it's governments, commercial banks, public banks. Private banks. They want to make sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. And they don't want intermediaries at all. So when you have an intermediary, you sort of have a partner. Because you have to acquiesce to what the intermediary wants. They don't want to acquiesce to anyone now. Central banks are like, we want to be at the top alone. And these technologies can allow them to do that. Now, while they're in the process of doing that, there are a few people that are going to make a ton of money. Remember, they have to hold XRP in order to use on-demand liquidity. Hold XRP. And as they're constantly using XRP, and all these banks, so if you have over 400 or 500 banks utilizing XRP, and that number is only going to grow, they have to all hold amounts of XRP and pool their money into XRP. That price is going to raise dramatically, even if it's just them taking out huge allotments of XRP for closed ecosystems from the circulating supply. That makes XRP even more rare. So the price is still going to raise just based off of that alone. People don't see it yet. Algorand, same thing. XLM, the same thing. Hedera, they all serve different purposes. MBDCs, central bank digital currencies, MCBDCs, MBDCs. So now let's continue on here. It says, following Goeth, who said, tell me with whom you consort and I will tell you who you are. I can tell you that I am proud of the close cooperation of the Republic of Serbia as developed with the People's Republic of China over the past 10 years. Also, never underestimate the V-chain with V-carbon connection with China. V-chain will explode as well, in my humble opinion. They are the only one that can access the rest of the money of the world and provide a premier traceability protocol for the rest of the world and deal with China as well. Access China's money and provide traceability for China as well. That's a huge opportunity. China's economy at some point in the future probably will surpass United States economy. But let's continue on here, and not without trouble, by the way, because China is in big trouble right now. But we'll see how that shakes out. And hopefully things don't go too bad with that, because it would definitely impact everyone else in the world. The relationship of our countries is defined by firm partnership, mutual understanding, supported by the rock solid friendship between the Serbian President Alexander Vučić and the Chinese President Xi Jinping. The relationship between our two countries is the best proof of the old Chinese saying, when brothers are as one, their strength can break even metal. Okay, so obviously we're talking about a one world system. Now, if you look at the new financial system, you have XRP and XLM, Stellar, in those regions right around China, right? China does a lot of business with all the different countries in that region. So there's going to be money flowing out from China's CBDC, Russia's CBDC, VeChain as a protocol over there, in my humble opinion, XRP over there. There's no way that things don't cross over. It's just like it's inevitable that certain values are going to cross over into dollars, and dollars are going to cross over there, no matter how much they want to minimize it. They can minimize it, but it's still going to occur because there's a lot of people that do good business that are going to come from these countries, and they have to exchange this fiat for another. They can do it much easier by utilizing cryptocurrencies. You can get around a lot of things. Let's just say that, right? But the values of what I'm saying are going to flow one into the other. This is where interoperability comes into play. I mean, maybe if someone has a different idea and I'm thinking wrong about this, you could correct me in the comment section. I'm definitely open to learning, and I respect your opinions. But that's where you get interoperability. It will flow seamlessly from the legacy system into the new financial system, from one currency into another, as though, and after a while, if this all goes according to plan, it'll be like they have only one currency, because everything will flow one into the other, especially if they're going to be backing their currencies with something like gold or minerals or whatever it is they want to back it with. Then they're going to base that value. I would think the value will be based on the rarity of the particular resource that they're backing their currency with, right? So then I would think if most countries are going to move to a resource-backed currency, then there will have to sort of be a calculation of the value of the basket of currencies, you know, and then that's even in question also, depending on who is the absolute power of the world, you know, in the coming decades. And there's a lot that could determine that, but then you have to question who is in charge of determining the worth of the basket of currencies and who's going to be doing the calculations, especially if these different powerful countries don't trust each other. So then there's that, right? So you don't want somebody once more weaponizing their currencies, although I think that's inevitable given the nature of humanity to be very hostile to that which is unknown and to those which are unfamiliar to them, right? So here you can see it already. It says in 10 years, trade between China and Serbia has increased 4 times. So here, let's move down to this little bullet point here. It says keeping abreast of blockchain technology that underlies trading in cryptocurrencies, we were among the first to regulate the manner and conditions under which cryptocurrencies can be traded. So there you have it. So crypto is involved. That's why we're here reading this document. Crypto is going to move massive amounts of value around the world. The question is, which crypto are going to be left standing in the end? We all know what it's going to be: the compliant crypto, the crypto that can be used without a problem, without being sued, without regulatory scrutiny, and that's going to be the bank coins. Let's read this next little bullet point here. It says digitalization has become part and parcel of everyday business in insurance and VPF markets in the Republic of Serbia, owing to the introduction of online purchase of new and modified products and alternative channels of communication. Despite, I can freely say, major breakthroughs in financial industry, digitalization is a process far from complete. In fact, it will never be over. I said this before. It's never going to end. They're going to continue innovating, pushing forward, building on what the capabilities of DLT is. So XRPL will get stronger, faster, move more value in the future. Over time, everything in degrees. XLM, the same thing. But only the patient people will see it through to a time where generational wealth is there. Who knows when that's going to be? I don't proclaim to know. I do know the timelines, and I'm hoping it stays within a 3 to 5 year timeline. We've only been here a year covering this, so it's not. So we haven't been too impatient, right? We've been very patient so far. Algorand will continue to grow and expand over time. I expect the new financial system to completely engulf the old financial system, the old legacy system. I think it's over for them. The new way is too good, and it's only going to continue to improve. And it's been improving at an exponential rate. There is no reason to utilize what is old at a certain point. Think about Blockbuster and Netflix, which Netflix is something that I had to talk about in the video that I released earlier, the War Report on Crypto. You definitely want to go watch that video. It was very good. But for a while, Blockbuster hung around. It was the legacy offering of video, the legacy dominant offering for videos, and TV shows. It hung around for a little while. They even tried to change a little bit and become like Netflix, and they did streamed videos. But the more Netflix took over, Eventually, Blockbuster went away completely, and now only Netflix exists, not Blockbuster. And the same thing is happening to Netflix right now, losing millions of subscribers a month, and HBO Max, Disney, Hulu are taking over, right? So this always happens. So yes, I see in the future that I think this will be similar to that, where the new financial system will take over completely, and those people holding those assets will they will come by wealth that I think a lot of people are going to be shocked, in my humble opinion. So this is from the digitalpoundfoundation.com. Now, I don't remember exactly, but I believe that the Central Bank of India was the one that was working with Consensus, and then Consensus had a lot of problems and issues. So they halted the testing of their CBDC on Consensus, and then I was speculating that someone else will step in. So this is something also to get an update on and look into. But let's read this little tidbit here. It says India's central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, has reportedly asked 4 public sector banks to run a pilot central bank digital currency project ahead of a possible rollout in this financial year. RBI is also said to be holding consultations with a clutch of fintech companies. The list of fintechs include US-based FIS. FIS. The list of fintechs include US-based FIS, Hedera. FIS is on Hedera's governing council. What a glorious time to be alive. US-based FIS, which has been holding roundtable conferences, I didn't know that, and workshops with central bankers globally on CBDCs. As per a money control report, what's the likelihood that the distributed ledger technology Hashgraph, which Hedera, which FIS sits on the governing council of, was brought up in those meetings? I think there's a high likelihood, but we'll wait to see what happens so we can work with some concrete information. FIS has had various engagements with the RBI. And of course, our connected ecosystem would be extended to the RBI to experiment various CBDC options, said Julia Demidova, senior director at FIS. Things are going to really heat up in 2023. They are. I hate to keep going down the list. You have Quant with LAC Chain. They're bringing more banks to the table, as they said. SIA Chain, SIA Partners, more banks coming. Hedera being tested by banks. You know what Ripple is doing. They're always trying to bring banks in over at Ripple. Algorand, more banks. Koi Bank said they're bringing about 5 or 10. I can't remember exactly. It was something like that. Bringing those banks to the table. Hopefully they will use Algorand. That price is going to explode. If they do, we'll stay up to date on that. Everybody is doing very well, and I expect some news to come out of Stellar. I do. We'll wait to see what happens with this Meridian. I remember it was last winter when Stellar was releasing a lot of great information. We'll see what comes out of this Meridian panel, and hopefully they'll be on some more panels. Maybe we get some announcements. I believe Stellar's going to explode as well. In just my humble opinion. You don't have to like Stellar or agree, okay? Or purchase Stellar. You don't have to do any of that, all right? Don't ask people to do that kind of thing here on this channel, all right? I have to say that a lot of people in the comment section, they seem like sort of upset with things, and I get it. Like the industry has had a tough time. Markets have been red. The world is in great strife. I understand the frustrations completely. I get it. Everything's looking very, very good in my humble opinion. We have some more articles here, but I don't want to keep you here too long today. So FIS is there. It says RBI has roped in 4 state-run banks to run a pilot CBDC project. I wish they would give the name of the project so we could look into that. According to 2 bank officials, the RBI has asked State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, Union Bank of India, and Bank of Baroda to run the pilot internally. The official said, requesting anonymity as per the report. Okay, so this is information that was leaked. All right, I see. Requesting anonymity. Okay, I got you. I get it. So everything's looking good. All the bank coins are doing very well. And now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.